We are here with Townsend Bell, a Fox Sports commentator, Fox car commentator. Uh, Again, I just can't thank you enough for bringing this up here, especially. But does the part of you still think like a driver, like especially when you won back in Le Mans a little while ago, then like when you're calling a race, just like when does that show up the most?
I think it shows up all the time. My job in the booth is as an analyst, and Will Buxton is the play-by-play person, which means his primary job is to talk about what's going on, and my job, along with James, is to break down maybe why that's going on, what's happening behind the story. And from a driver's perspective, if you spent a good part of your life like I did as a racing driver, I don't think you can ever unwire that. I feel like a racer first. And so when I see those great onboard shots of the drivers behind the wheel, it really takes me into the helmet and back into the seat and back into a great track like Mid Ohio here, to try to pick up on some little nuggets or insights that might not seem obvious, but then to bring those to life. So that's kind of how I see my work.
And then when a race goes quiet, like no drama, no crashes, no action, it's like what's the go-to move to just keep people interact, keep people watching, and make it a good race?
That's a really good question because, as you know, in IndyCar races, we have moments where there's not crazy competition taking place, and at Mid Ohio, after the first few laps at the start, things start to settle in, and typically that's when we will pivot to storytelling around strategy, around pace, around how does somebody in fifth place start to think about getting to the front. Where can that happen? How do you plan for the pit stops? We talk about undercutting and overcutting. We talk about fuel saving to get an advantage later on. We talk about tire strategy. Those are all the things we do in those moments. And then sometimes we're interrupted with great on-track action, or sometimes we can kind of anticipate that it's about to happen. But that's a really good question.
And then just like I think this will be our last thing here, but just like what's one thing you tell the next generation of race fans and reporters to just hold on to as they're making their journey through IndyCar?
Well, for race fans, I thank them for their passion, and I feel like it's a shared community. I have the same passion, the same desire. That's what got me into racing. For someone like yourself that is starting out in the media business, it's the same thing. Keep up the curiosity. In fact, the more curious you are, I think the better you'll be as a reporter, to bring fans that are curious just like you those inside stories.
All right, thank you.